Hi, my name is Ashley Fisher, and here's how you play the game Elimination Station. To start off, make sure you have all the parts, including the game board, the E1 and E2 game pieces, one die, and the 4 different colored sets of cards. To start the game, each player will roll the dice once, and whichever player gets the higher number will pick a game piece, roll the dice, and move that many spaces. After moving the allotted number of spaces on the die, they will pick a card of the corresponding color. Each card has a different topic, such as alkyl halides, bases, solvents, and just general trivia. When a player lands on a white space and draws a white card, there are 2 different ways the player can progress on the game board. First, they will identify the type of alkyl halide on the game card as primary, secondary, or tertiary. The answer is listed on the back and can be read off by the opposite player. If they get this correct, they can move forward 1 extra space on the game board. Secondly, they can determine whether or not that this type of alkyl halide is favorable for the type of reaction listed on their game piece. If it is, they can move forward 1 more extra space on the game board. If not, they are to stay in the same space they were before. When a player lands on an orange space and draws an orange card, it is similar to a white card in that there are 2 different opportunities to progress on the game board. First, the player is to identify the base on the card as strong or weak. The answer, like the white cards, are also on the back and can be read off by the opposite player. After identifying the base, they can then determine whether or not that base is favorable for the reaction on their game piece. If they have identified the base correctly, they can move forward 1 extra space, and if it is favorable for the reaction, they can move 1 more extra space forward. When a player lands on a pink space and draws a pink card, the operations are very similar to that of the white and orange cards. They are to identify the solvent on the card as polar protic or polar aprotic, and if it is correct, they can move forward 1 extra space on the board. The answer is on the back, much like the other cards. Also, if that type of solvent is favorable for the reaction, they can move 1 more extra space on the board forward. The player lands on a yellow space and draws a yellow card. The operations are a little different. If the player answers the question on the card correctly, they can move forward 2 spaces on the board. However, if they answer the question incorrectly, they are to move backward 1 space on the board. To get a better idea of how the game works, let's play an example round. First, a player will roll the dice. Let's say the player as E1 rolls a 2. They are to move forward 2 spaces on the board. They will then draw an orange card and identify water as a strong or weak base. Water is a weak base, as indicated by the back of the card, and so if they get that correct, they can move forward 1 extra space. Also, since water is a weak base, it is favored by E1 reactions. If the player correctly identifies this fact, they can move 1 more space forward. To win the game, a player must pass all the game spaces and be the first one to reach Elimination Station.